Today on Studio One, many young people are spending a lot of time and money playing online poker. We'll tell you why some are worried about its growing popularity. Also, a lot of people enjoy outdoor activities during winter months. We'll tell you about one man who spends his winters on a bicycle. And boot camp is a grueling test of fitness and mental stamina. We'll take you to a boot camp where the goal is to fit into a wedding dress.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Hello everyone and welcome to Studio One. I'm Monty Kucera.
And I'm Jenna Lind. Well, when most people think of primates, they probably think of apes and chimps.
Yeah, monkeys.
Gorillas.
Sure.
You know. But no one really thinks of lemurs.
No, I wouldn't think of a lemur.
They were actually in the film Madagascar. They're one of the creatures that...
They're furry, right?
Yeah, they're furry. They're almost cat-like. But there's a guest on the show today who's going to be telling us more about them. Okay. And they're an endangered species, but there's many different species of them, too. Huh.
Interesting.
So it should be
get to learn,
something to look forward to.
Yeah, learn about a different type of animal. That's coming up on the show. Also, President Bush outlined his plans to reduce America's reliance on foreign oil in his State of the Union address. We'll tell you what that could mean for the future of ethanol.
Also, natural disasters occur around the world. Later, we'll talk to someone who will tell us about one disaster that could drastically change the entire planet.
But first, here's today's news with Mariah Torning.
Thank you, Monty and Jenna. At least 22 people have died and more than a dozen wounded from a series of bombings in Iraq Thursday. Much of the violence took place in Baghdad. One of the attacks involved a minibus driving through a Shiite neighborhood. Witnesses say someone threw an explosive device into the vehicle. The attack killed at least 5 people and left 8 wounded. Another bomb exploded in a marketplace near an Iraqi police station. 4 people died in the blast and nearly a dozen others were wounded. Raging tensions and attacks between the Sunni and Shiites have killed more than 450 people in the past week. President Bush signed an agreement Thursday to send nuclear fuel and expertise to India. In return, India will allow the U.S. access to its 14 civilian nuclear reactors. They have also agreed to keep power generation separate from its military program. Bush says the U.S. and India are developing closer ties by expanding India's nuclear power capacity. Eating healthy can be a challenge for many people, but when they mix in alcohol, it may be even more difficult. A study done by the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism has found that the more a person drinks, the less likely they are to eat a healthy diet. The research looked at the eating and drinking habits of more than 3,000 people. It concluded that poor eating and too much drinking can be a bad combination.
So if you're eating, a lot of high-fat foods, alcoholic drinks, there's a lot of calories there. And if you're not, even if there's sufficient calories, you might not be getting the proper nutrition.
Kerr says people who drink should do so in moderation. She says it's the best way for them to stay healthy without making it hard on their bodies. Patients who have had colon surgery could soon be given an unusual medicine. Doctors at a hospital in Santa Barbara, California, have been giving patients chewing gum to help speed up their recovery. They found that chewing gum stimulates nerves that release hormones which activate the gastrointestinal tract. The patients who chewed gum averaged a hospital stay of 4 days, while those who did not chew gum averaged a 7-day stay. The doctors are extending their research to test whether certain flavors work better than others. A special type of fuel may soon be more available to the average consumer, and with the government pledging its support, many hope it will reduce the dependence on foreign oil.
For many years, the blend of 85% ethanol and 15% gas, better known as E85, has been available in a limited number of gas stations. With the U.S. trying to decrease its dependence on foreign oil, many Americans are hoping ethanol will help increase their self-sufficiency. In President Bush's State of the Union address, he laid out his plan to reduce oil imports 75% by 2025. To achieve that goal, he wants to increase funding so more research can be done on the renewable sources of ethanol.
Today, the primary feedstock is corn, but you can also make ethanol from a whole lot of other feedstocks, including grass and wood.
Here at the Crop Expo in Grand Forks, North Dakota, many seem hopeful about ethanol's future.
I think ethanol is going to be definitely be a growing tradition.
Pretty efficient
situation to think you could grow it and burn it, you know.
Go ethanol.
One reason people may be so optimistic about ethanol is that drivers are taking advantage of its many benefits, including cost.
Next time when I do buy a vehicle, it definitely will be a vehicle that will take E85.
But there are some drawbacks.
You get about 25% less miles per gallon out of E85 than you will out of gasoline.
But even so, many hope that with more federal support, ethanol could one day be the primary source of power for the vehicles of America. For Studio One, I'm Sean Engel reporting.
There are nearly 4 million vehicles on today's roadways that are able to operate on E85 as well as gasoline. And that's the news for now. Monty and Jenna?
Thanks a lot, Mariah. Well, I know at the beginning of winter there were a lot of people who are worried about high fuel prices because of the winter coming.
Exactly. But you know what? Spring is coming closer.
Yeah, it's March. That's right.
I'm looking forward to spring.
Yeah.
I'm tired of winter. But let's go to the weather studio and ask Matt how... I'm getting kind of restless. Is spring coming around for the nation soon?
Well, I think it's coming around pretty soon. You know, it's March, and the third week of March, we see the first day of spring. So let's take a look at our averages across our area. I've been saying this for the past couple weeks. We're seeing these averages starting to warm up. Look at that 36 in Bismarck as well as in Minneapolis. And that's really the big story here, is these averages are going to continue to warm up. But even the bigger story, the actual temperatures outside are actually starting to get closer to this. So we're no longer below average for much of the country. Seems like for most of February we're below average, but now we're starting to meet these averages, and even some areas are seeing above average temperatures. 61 out in Atlanta, 66 in Dallas, and out in Los Angeles, if you've been watching, everybody else here, they've been warming up the past couple weeks, but actually Los Angeles, they've actually gone down a degree, and that's because they've been seeing, well, not because they don't like the idea of summertime and springtime, or that they like winter. It's actually because just that time of year where we see a huge ridge begin to form in the western part of the country, where we see a relative high pressure, but off the west coast here, that's where we begin to see a huge trough. And what begins to happen is that with this trough come with it storms. And with each of these storms we see a lot of cloud cover and rainfall, and that's the reason why like areas such as LA and San Francisco, they're going to see their average temperatures this time of year start to dip just a little bit, but as we head towards springtime, the sun gets higher in the sky. But as long as this trough is off over here, we're going to see storm after storm after storm. And the good news is this brings all the rainfall for the year for much of the west coast. During the summertime, if you've ever been out there, they're usually pretty dry, but during the winter and springtime, that's when they see their most rainfall. And as long as this trough stays in place off the west coast, off in the eastern Pacific, that's where we see most of the rainfall. Now this is from March 2nd. This is a captured satellite image of one of these storms, and this is what it looks like. It's a big pinwheel off the west coast. Wherever you see these big heavy white bands here, that's where the heaviest rainfall is. And if you look just behind it there, that's the next storm system coming in. So as long as we have this trough off to the west coast, they're going to keep getting hammered with rain and strong winds time after time. And sometimes these reach over and can get across and give some snow up to the north. But that's just that. So anyways, what conditions classify a blizzard? You have a few choices there, and there may be more than one answer to that. But later on in the show, we actually have a story about what people are studying for blowing snow and how you should drive on it.
Thank you, Matt. I know that icy roads are pretty serious.
And it's a good thing. Hopefully, look forward to that story coming up in weather. It's good to always know tips how to drive safe. Let's go now to some highlights, sports highlights, in fact, with Nathan Shane.
Thank you, Monty and Jenna. March Madness, the NCAA's Division I men's basketball tournament, usually starts later in the month. But just ask number 1 ranked Duke Blue Devils, or for that matter, the 7th ranked Texas Longhorns. For them, it has already started. And we'll start with Duke as they took on Florida State. In the second, all knotted up, J.J. Redick hits the big three-pointer. He had 30 points on the night, Duke up by 3. But now still in the second half, just over 1 to go. Alexander Johnson with a pretty little fadeaway. FSU goes up by 2, looking for the upset here. As the second winds down, J.J. Redick misses the shot. There'd be a scramble for the rebound here. Al Thornton with some great hustle gets the ball. Fans storm the court thinking it's over. It's a little premature with 1.7 left, but it wouldn't matter. FSU wins 77-74 on to Texas where the Longhorns take on the Aggies of A&M. Daniel Gibson makes the three-pointer here. Texas up by 2, but it was the closing moments of this game where Texas had a chance with the score tied up, but P.J. Tucker lets the shot clock run down. Rick Barnes is livid, as he should be, leaving the door open for A.C. Law. Huge big three-pointer at the buzzer. Texas A&M upsets the Longhorns 46-43. The men's 100-meter dash is usually the highlight of the Summer Olympics, but in 50 years, all eyes may turn to the women. British scientists compared the times of men's and women's 100-meter races from the past century. They found women's times have gradually increased, while men's times are increasing at a slower rate or staying the same. They concluded that in the 2056 Olympics, women could be sprinting faster than men. But since sprinting relies a lot on muscle mass and size, some have their doubts.
I would think that it would be very difficult for women to reach that level. I guess I'd question whether that could actually happen. It'd be fun to see.
Another British study has shown that women may also overtake men someday in distance running. And it's now time for the Studio One Sports Trivia question. And the question we have today goes to the NHL, and we want to know how many seasons did the great Gordie Howe play in the NHL? And the answers rank anywhere from 25 years to 28 years. Regardless, that's a lot of years, but we'll have the answer to that, plus some more sports later on in the show. Monty and Jenna?
Thanks, Nathan. Millions of people use a computer at home or the office. We'll tell you how some criminals are trying to use your keystrokes against you.
Also, we've seen tsunamis and flooding that have devastated the lives of millions. Earth could face global warming through glacial melting. Next, we'll talk to someone who will tell us why flooding is the least of his worries when it comes to melting glaciers.
Need to plan an entire conference? Want to provide your employees with professional training and development? The Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota provides quality programs and services for career enhancement. Whether you want to attend educator workshops or need a certificate for your profession, the Division of Continuing Education can help you achieve success. Contact the Division of Continuing Education today and let us meet your professional needs.
George Bull and his partners found value in farina, the whitest part of wheat, and created cream of wheat. Patrick Haggerty founded Texas Instruments and helped it become one of the nation's high-tech giants. Raymond Rood is responsible for the modern diving board. His diving boards have been used in every Olympic competition since 1960. Chris Moen and Marlene Schott launched their food company through the UND Entrepreneurship Program. Will yours be next?
The University of North Dakota Alumni Association and Foundation, together with thousands of alumni and friends, are making a difference at UND. Thanks to generous private support, many students have experienced the rich history, tradition, and spirit of the University of North Dakota. UND alumni and friends understand the importance of education and are proud to be part of UND's growth and success. Learn how your gift to the UND Foundation can benefit you and your university. You can make a difference.
Advance your career with a graduate business degree from the University of North Dakota. The Graduate School at UND offers a variety of master's degrees that can help you stand out in the competitive business world. Our programs accommodate full-time students as well as working professionals. Our state-of-the-art facilities, dedicated faculty, and entrepreneurial training position graduates for careers as business leaders. Make your move towards a business leadership position. Contact the UND Graduate School today.
Tradition runs deep among American Indian people. One of those traditions is helping others. At the University of North Dakota, American Indian Student Services is dedicated to helping students succeed. Our support services include tutoring and financial aid assistance. We have more American Indian programs than any other university in the U.S., making UND a leader in Indian education. Be a part of our tradition. Call 1-800-CALL-UND.
You're watching Studio One, your source for news, weather, sports, and entertainment.
Glaciers in Greenland have been melting faster than scientists expected. If this melting trend spreads to other glacial areas, the results could be catastrophic. Atmospheric Science Assistant Professor Paul Kucera is here to talk about glacial melting and how this could affect our planet. Thanks for coming on the show today.
You're welcome.
Well, first of all, what is happening to make these glaciers melt?
Well, for the past 100 years or so, the temperature on Earth has been increasing such that we have global warming basically around the planet, and that's causing the temperatures in the northern latitudes to rise. So with that, there's shorter seasons for freezing and ice buildup, and so there's longer warm seasons, and so the ice is melting faster than it's accumulating.
And there's no one reason why things are melting, right? It's a whole bunch of different answers put together, is that?
Yeah, the Earth is very complicated. The climate system is very complicated, and it's really hard to pinpoint one answer or one reason or one cause. It's a variety of things, from just the natural variability on climate to some possibly anthropogenic man-made causes.
Okay. Well, speaking of people,
yeah.
What role do they play in this? Is it something that it looks like, you know, if people weren't on this planet, things would be just fine? Or what's your opinion on that?
It's really hard to say if we weren't here that there would be a normal climate, even though it's hard to describe a normal climate. Some of the roles that we could have is due to urbanization, where causing there's less trees and forests, where many more greenhouse gases and stuff, which can cause the Earth to warm.
Okay. Well, if this continues, if the glaciers keep melting, what can happen?
Well, one thing that could happen is certain things is that the sea levels could rise, some with that fresh water going in, and actually then the ocean, the circulation in the ocean could actually change such that there could be catastrophic climate effects in certain areas of the world.
Okay, and we actually have a graphic of this oceanic circulation going on, and we'll show that. If you could explain what's going on with the ocean.
Okay, in normal climate conditions, we have this global ocean circulation, which starts up in the areas in the North Atlantic around Greenland. This is cold, dense water that sinks to the bottom, and over a period of, say, 1,000 years, it circulates around all the oceans and comes back and comes back to the northern parts of the North Atlantic.
Okay. So if that stops, if that circulation stops, what can happen?
What can happen is that on its return, the thermohaline circulation returns on the surface and brings warm, salty water to the North Atlantic, which then keeps the areas in northern Europe warm in the winter. If that shuts off, it actually can have an effect that they have very cold winters, cold and dry, and such that there could be major climate changes, and that would affect agriculture and how people live in those areas. So it could be major if it happens.
Okay. Well, you say it could be major. What could happen? How would this affect humans?
In humans, in terms of like agriculture practices, what could be farmed, how people live, if they could actually live in those regions, there'd have to be maybe a shift southward, change in crops, maybe of only cold season crops and so on. So it could have a large impact.
So not only not only uncomfortable maybe, but the whole world surface could change, and even countries could change drastically. What about animals in all of this?
If animals are very sensitive to small changes in the climate, either they'll have to migrate to warmer climates, or in some cases they would become extinct, at least in those regions.
Many people have seen disaster movies before, and it seems like overnight all of a sudden there's an ice age or something like that. How short-term or long-term is this that we're talking?
Well, it's really hard to tell because the climate there's so much uncertainty in climate. So we're looking anywhere from maybe there could be climate changes in the next 100 years, or it could be tens of thousands of years, or maybe never. This scenario may never happen in our lifetimes. So,
okay. Are you optimistic that this can be fixed?
I don't know if we can really say it can be fixed because we really don't understand all the parts of the problem. I think what we really need to do is really invest in more research to understand what's going on in climate and then make educated decisions.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It's an important and very large topic.
Yes.
Thanks, Paul.
You're welcome.
Coming up, they look cute, cuddly, and furry, but it's not a cat or dog. One anthropologist will share what he knows about a distinct endangered species. Also, many things have to be done to get ready for a wedding. Next, we'll meet some brides who are going through more than just basic training when it comes to prepping for the big day.
Studio One closed captioning is underwritten in part by Options, your disability information source.
Earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering degree program offers the only ABET accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through online lectures and condensed on-campus laboratories.
It's convenient, it's flexible, and it's a quality education.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door.
Wall Street has come to the prairie through the A. Kirk Lanterman Investment Center at the University of North Dakota. This state-of-the-art facility in the College of Business and Public Administration provides hands-on experience in the world of modern finance. Students learn how financial markets react with lightning quickness to world events. They use cutting-edge technology and real-time data from more than 200 financial markets around the world. The Lanterman Investment Center provides the tools to make a career out of an education.
There are many things to be found at the University of North Dakota School of Law. You will find a place with small class settings, an affordable place that offers student interaction with both the state and federal court systems. You will find a school that has averaged over 90% placement for its graduates the past 5 years. But most importantly, you will find the skills and experience you'll need throughout your legal career. Find your future at the University of North Dakota School of Law.
Explore the educational opportunities available through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota. With just one phone call or a click of the mouse, you'll find high-quality programs designed for today's adults. We have a large selection of continuing education courses that are available at a time and place that's convenient for you. Discover a world of learning through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
Computers are becoming harder and harder to protect. A new threat security officials call botnets is a growing problem. Computer programmers basically hijack another person's computer for their own purpose. Researchers say an army of 5,000 botnets can make up to $15,000 a month for a remote master. This money can be made in a variety of ways, including fraud and extortion.
So he or she buys software and has that software released onto the internet in a way that's self-propagating, either as a virus or a worm. It then finds its way onto your computer without your knowing about it.
The federal government has been tracking these remote masters continuously. Federal prosecutors say the government is not far from behind in catching the computer hackers. The problem is a global issue. The latest antivirus software can help protect people's computers. Now it's time to look at the events happening in your area. Boot camp pushes the limits of a soldier's physical and mental capabilities, but a special occasion has pushed some civilians to put their bodies to the test as well.
Soldiers train long and hard in order to prepare themselves for action.
Boot camp's really just designed to put you in a different mindset and make you more than what you thought you really could be.
It takes many hours of discipline, sweat, and hard work, among other things, to survive boot camp. This strategy not only applies to soldiers, but also some very special brides-to-be.
Right now we just kind of focus with the brides because they're more interested
that $800 wedding dress, I think, is the average they're spending on it, or the honeymoon, and no, they're more interested in how they look. 3, 4, awesome.
Bridal Boot Camp is a fitness program created for brides and their wedding parties as a way to get into shape for the big event.
I really was looking forward to the fitness aspect of it because there are parts of my body that I wish I could just, hit and that I am not getting on my own.
Because weddings commonly occur in the spring, the 3-month program begins in February. This gives the brides enough time to tone up before their special day.
I want to buy my dress this summer, so I want it to fit nice. That's pretty much why. And what I like is I'm working out with other girls that are doing the same things I'm working on right now as far as weddings and all that kind of stuff, and just kind of fun.
Although this boot camp won't prepare these girls for combat, their hard work will bring a successful end to their mission. I'm Virginia Sticka reporting for Studio One.
The Bridal Boot Camp is currently for women only. Nicole says a couples camp designed to teach dance lessons may be coordinated later. Coming up, for someone who loves a sport typically associated with summer, winters in North Dakota can get pretty long. In our Studio One Spotlight, we'll tell you how one man uses his creative flair to keep pedaling year-round. That story plus news, sports, and weather in the next half hour of Studio One.
The School of Engineering and Mines at UND has a long history of preparing students for successful careers. Through small classes and faculty involvement, students have unique opportunities to gain hands-on experience. Here, students launch a weather balloon to test a remote imaging device destined for Earth orbit. Students can also become involved in wind energy and fuel cell projects, design, build, and race a Formula One car, or even develop a camera that will generate agricultural images from the International Space Station. Find out for yourself how you can get involved at UND School of Engineering and Mines.
Do you need a flexible way to earn your degree? The University of North Dakota's Degrees After Hours program is designed to work around your full-time schedule. Whether you've got a family, a full-time job, or both, the Degrees After Hours program offers you flexible alternatives. You can earn a degree or take courses online through video conferencing and in the evenings or on weekends. UND's Degrees After Hours program fits your needs, your schedule, and your goals. Contact UND today.
This can happen.
Excuse me, can I get a ride?
What?
My car broke down. Can I get a ride?
No, I can't help you.
Look, it's just a ride.
No, step back.
Get in the car!
No!
Women can defend themselves. To learn more about Impact U or to enroll in a class, call the UND Women's Center.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Welcome back to Studio One.
Thanks for joining us today. Well, political cartoons are in a lot of publications, and recently there was one political cartoon in Europe that caused a big stir, especially in the Muslim community, where they depicted the Prophet Muhammad in it, and a lot of people were upset by that.
Yeah, there was 25,000 people in Pakistan who had a big protest.
Yes, a lot of protesting going on. We wanted to know from people in this area how political cartoons affected their lives. Their answers are coming up in the next 30 minutes on Studio One. Also, TV tournaments and celebrity shows have introduced many people to poker, and millions are now playing the game online. We'll tell you why some are concerned that many young people are playing too long and losing too much.
Also, many people have a hobby they enjoy doing throughout the year. Coming up in our Spotlight story, we'll meet a man who braves frigid temperatures and blowing snow so he can keep on riding.
And lemurs are animals that live miles away in Madagascar. A lemur expert will tell us why these interesting animals are in danger. But first, here's today's news with Mariah Torning.
Thank you, Monty and Jenna. The man who pled guilty to killing 29 people while working as a nurse in Pennsylvania and New Jersey has been sentenced. Charles Cullen was given 11 life sentences Thursday for administering lethal doses of medication to dozens of patients. Cullen is working with officials to identify additional victims. He says he killed as many as 40 patients during his 16-year career. Family members of identified victims lashed out at Cullen and spoke about their loved ones in court. Some called him a monster, others called him a coward, while some simply remembered their family members. Firefighters in Oklahoma have contained a wildfire after it burned more than 8,000 acres of grassland and destroyed more than 40 homes. Most of those evacuated from their homes were allowed to return. A suspected arsonist is being held in custody, while a second person is being sought in connection with the fire. The blaze spread quickly due to 90-degree temperatures and 40-mile-per-hour winds. Before taking another step, women who wear high heels may want to reconsider their footwear. Calluses, blisters, and aching feet may seem minor compared to the long-term effects of wearing high heels. Podiatrists say deformed toes, osteoarthritis, and small fractures are just some of the problems women should expect from daily wear. They say high heels shift the force of each step so that the greatest pressure is on the ball of the foot and the bones at the base of the toes. Podiatrists say heels should be 1 inch or shorter and worn sparingly.
My recommendation would be for special occasions, weddings, for going out to dinner, going out to special events that are short-lived, a few hours, maybe a half a day.
Wider heels may feel more stable, but doctors say they are just as damaging because they are still putting pressure on the feet. Soldiers are being taught new tools to help them communicate with people in foreign countries. They are using training programs to learn how to speak in gestures. The programs place the soldiers in a simulated Middle Eastern environment and expose them to different social situations. They learn how to build a good impression, such as kneeling when talking to children, and by placing a hand over the heart during a greeting. Researchers hope the training will prepare soldiers to interact more effectively with people from other cultures. Once a person turns 18, all it takes is a credit card to play one of the most popular games on the web. And if the odds are in a player's favor, it can be difficult to pull away from their computers once they start.
Devin Weingart is about to play a little poker. Instead of playing his hand at a local casino, he is headed to his bedroom.
Being able to walk 3 steps or drive 30 miles is a big difference. And so it's just nice and easy to do.
Like more than 1.5 million other male college students, Devin plays internet poker. He doesn't work.
If I need money, something like that, I'll be playing about 6 hours a day or so and make anywhere between $20 to $30 an hour.
And so he still manages to pay his bills. The winnings are put into a player's bank account by the time the next deck is shuffled. Devin says there are many other benefits to internet poker.
The biggest advantage of online poker to me is mainly the convenience of it.
But while Devin considers this the main advantage, other players believe it is one of its drawbacks. They say having it so accessible can lead to trouble.
Biggest disadvantage is the fact that you can keep playing, all through the day. You don't have to stop.
Brandon says he closed his accounts shortly after a streak of bad luck.
I would say addiction would be losing more money than you can afford to lose.
Gambling addiction counselor Lisa Vig says many young players are beginning to realize they have problems with online gambling.
Most of these individuals kind of tell us this delusional thinking that, I could be a professional gambler. I could really make a living at this.
That idea can make it difficult to see the downside of the game.
Like one of the things I love doing about it is like just building something from nothing. Like say I have like $5 left in my account and seeing how big I can get it before I just cash it out.
And while Devin is still enjoying his good fortune, many other players are finding that their luck has run out.
2 congressmen from Virginia have proposed the Internet Gambling Prohibition Act. Its goal is to make internet gambling illegal in the U.S. and would make online poker a jailable offense. And that's the news for now. Monty and Jenna?
Thanks, Mariah. Pretty soon we'll be able to just stay in our houses and do everything with our computer and never leave the house.
You won't even have to go outside, but that would be kind of a misfortune.
Yeah, you got to go outside.
But according to Matt, the people on the West Coast probably don't really want to go outside right now.
Yeah.
Matt, how's the weather? They're experiencing a lot of wetness over there. What can you tell us about the West?
Well, it looks like February was the month that the East Coast got hammered. Now it looks like the West Coast is trying to steal their thunder as far as storms and all that goes. But out in Burbank, California, they picked up over 10 inches of rain. That's a lot of rain for their area. Caused a lot of flooding and the potential for mudslides across their area. That rain stretched all the way up the west coast, all the way up into Washington. Just out on Mercer Island, some road construction crews came to their work site, and the rain actually washed out the roadways. They actually got to do a little bit more work there, it looks like, but the storm really packed a pretty good punch across much of the west coast. Around the San Francisco area, they recorded winds in excess of 90 miles an hour, so it was really powerful winds. And the rainfall, this is a big thing with this storm. This entire area here, that's 2 to 4 inches of rain. And right here, this little swath of 5 to 10, that's along the San Gabriel mountain range. That's where we saw a lot of rainfall there. And as well, this is really a pretty good chunk of real estate. And as that storm system moved off towards the east here, we began to see it move off into Idaho as well. And that's just a lot of rainfall for their area, and that's good news because they've been seeing a lot of drought weather and drought conditions for that area. Well, with winter driving conditions on the mind of motorists, people are turning to meteorologists for their weather forecast.
The winter season creates some of the most treacherous driving conditions. Researchers are now working on ways to make roadways safer.
In March of last year, I reported on this very site, which was still in the process of being built. Now it has been sending data and information to the University of North Dakota since November, giving data to researchers to better help them understand surface transportation.
In a very small area, we can capture not only the types of ice crystals that are blowing across the road, but we can also quantify and tell how much is blowing.
By using a distrometer, researchers can look at snow in a more in-depth view.
Being able to identify the drifting snow that's moving across the road surface, and it's that snow that actually leads to the icing of the roads.
Researchers can create a blowing snow report. The report is a prediction based on the collected data. The Department of Transportation can take this information and warn motorists of the road ahead. Reporting for Studio One, I am Nikki Morrell.
The Regional Weather Information Center provides up-to-date weather data, including radar imagery, temperature data, and wind speeds, along with a live webcam. Here's a recap of your weather IQ question. Earlier we asked you what conditions classify a blizzard, and your answer, you actually got to have all 3 of these. And the catch is you got to have all 3 of these for at least 3 hours. So you'll hear blizzard-like conditions. It just means you'll see these conditions for a little while, but not for 3 hours.
Thank you, Matt. I always just assumed that a blizzard was just tons of snow.
Yeah, snow, wind, you got a blizzard, but it has to be 3 hours long, I guess. All right. Well, let's turn now to sports, and Nathan Shane, he's got a story about an amazing team.
Thank you, Monty and Jenna. Every team tries to win every game it plays, but even the best usually drop 1 or 2 along the way. The University of North Dakota women's basketball team has done something rare this year by going undefeated during the regular season, a trend they hope continues into the playoffs.
Practice makes perfect, and so far this season, the UND Fighting Sioux have practiced perfection in the win-loss column. They are 30-0, and as the unbeaten streak continues to build, so too does the target on their back.
Well, everybody wants to be the team to beat the undefeated team and end their season, you know, kind of as the underdog.
The Sioux have found ways to win by stressing quick passing, tough defense, and strong hustle. But what might be their biggest strength is their deep bench. 10 players average more than 10 minutes per game.
We have a lot of depth, and a lot of people can come out and do something every single night.
The Sioux have faced only a few teams that have challenged them this season, but their biggest opponent might just be their history, where comparisons to past national championship teams have become just as common as winning.
This team has made their own mark, so to speak. The teams in the 90s give them a lot of credit. They won 3 national championships, and that's what this team is working for.
Being unbeaten can lead to added pressure, but this team has taken on a new mentality heading into playoffs.
Once the national tournament starts, everybody's 0-0, 1 loss, you're out. So really, the games you won before are just a building block to get you to that spot.
If UND is able to win the Division II National Championship, the team will assure its own place in history. Until then, they will keep practicing towards perfection. For Studio One Sports, I'm Nick Johnson reporting.
If they do win it all, UND would be the first women's team in Division II to finish a season undefeated since North Dakota State University did it in 1995. And now the answer to this week's Studio One Sports Trivia question. Again, we want to know how many seasons did Gordie Howe play in the NHL? And the answer is B, 26. He played 25 of those in Detroit, 1 in Hartford, and a career that he scored over 18,000 career points. And that's the sports. Monty and Jenna?
Thanks a lot, Nathan. Music is important to people for many different reasons. Next, we'll meet some musicians who spread a message through their songs.
Also, there are some sports that can be played in both the winter and summer. In our Studio One Spotlight, we'll show you how one man has transformed his favorite summer activity into a winter sport.
When you graduate from college, what will you be able to offer an employer?
Well, I'm a really good people person.
I really love working with people.
I'm very, very motivated.
I'm a great people person. I am really motivated.
Offer an employer something more. At the University of North Dakota Career Services Center, we can help you get the competitive edge you need. Stop in or check us out, UND Career Services, empowering students to realize their dreams.
Did I mention I'm great with people?
The University of North Dakota College of Business and Public Administration offers real degrees for real people. Our nationally recognized faculty can help you earn a master's degree in business through evening classes.
Taking these evening classes were very convenient for me, and that's how I was able to complete the program.
We offer degrees for people who work, raise families, and lead busy lives. The UND College of Business and Public Administration, real degrees for real people.
The School of Engineering and Mines at UND offers students exceptional learning opportunities. Undergraduates are helping faculty design and build unmanned aerial vehicles to test remote imaging devices. They're also converting wind energy into hydrogen. Geological science students are contributing to environmental research. Extracurricular activities include designing, building, and racing a fuel cell car. Make the most of your college experience at UND's School of Engineering and Mines.
Let the University of North Dakota become your partner by providing your business with services to enhance your workforce. The UND Office of Workforce Development has extensive experience conducting employee satisfaction research, strategic planning, focus groups, and grant development. Call us for further information. Workforce Development, a service of the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
You're watching Studio One. News, weather, sports, and entertainment.
There are many variations of music in the world, each reflecting a special meaning. One band is in tune with what music means to them.
This auditorium is filled with more than just music from this choir. The Twin Cities Community Gospel Choir uses their energy and their songs to reach their audience.
Gospel music is definitely a music that you have to be in touch with and in tune with to play, to sing, to reproduce any of those sounds, because the music is so vibrant.
Gospel music requires a special type of musician and has a unique purpose.
You can just sing a song, but if you really want to get your message across and for people to be affected by what you're doing, which is the purpose of gospel music.
Robert Robinson has been called the Pavarotti of gospel music. He leads these singers and says the meaning in the music is vital.
I'm really cautious about the kind of message that I give in my song, and if the message is appropriate, then I don't mind singing it. I just want to make sure that the message is right. My reason for doing what I do is because I believe the message and the power of this music reaches people.
Robinson says the choir uses their talent to share a special message. If they can sing and communicate to their listeners, they have had a good performance. This is Peter Stordahl reporting for Studio One.
The choir is located in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. They perform in 5 of the Midwestern states. Political cartoons have been the cause of uproar and protest recently in parts of Europe and the Middle East. Cartoons featuring the Prophet Muhammad has resulted in destruction of public property, injury, and even death. While many Muslims are offended by the cartoons, others feel the newspapers are expressing their freedom of speech. We wanted your thoughts on the effects and outcomes of political cartoons.
I don't know, I enjoy the ones that we have in our papers. I mean, people take shots at the president. It's not that big a deal. It's just people's expressing their own opinions.
I don't think they're bad. I mean, I think most people take them to be kind of just a joke and, get people thinking. So otherwise, I don't think they're really bad or that they, at least here, negatively affect anything.
I mean, you can say what you want to say. It's the United States. I mean, if it's offensive, I mean, to me, it's a joke. I mean, to be honest, I don't know. I really don't care.
Well, I think it puts a little humor in it, so it's not so serious. But I mean, we're in a serious condition overseas. We know that.
Yeah, I think political cartoons are pretty effective. I think they work for the general populace.
It's called cabin fever when the long winter season starts to make people restless indoors. While some of us struggle with this every year, one man sees winter as another chance to enjoy one of his greatest passions.
It's a typical winter day. People are out skating, and many others are sledding down the snowy hills. But for Dave Yearwood, it opens up different opportunities.
Because I think
first, he has to wait for his class to get out. Dr. Dave Yearwood is a professor at the University of North Dakota, where he helps train future professors.
That's the description. And typically the description is the college.
But Yearwood has another love besides teaching. He is also an avid biker.
Biking is a great way for me to relax. At the same time, I'm competitive. So I get to meet that competitive side of my nature, and then I also get a chance to get some really good exercise.
But winter in North Dakota can make biking difficult, meaning Yearwood has to be creative.
Then the idea occurred to me sometime, well, maybe I should just try to come up with some design that will allow me to float through the snow, and not get stuck, not break through the snow, and not have to jump off the bike in an effort to avoid a fall. So then I stumbled upon a three-wheeler.
The design Yearwood came up with was a bike that has three-wheeler tires and a fitting name to match.
My three daughters came up with a name for it. They call it the Monster Bike.
The Monster rides like a normal bike but weighs more than 140 pounds, making hills a little tougher to manage. But the very idea of Yearwood enjoying the outdoors in the winter might seem strange to those he grew up with.
I'm from the Caribbean, where it's very warm. I don't have to put up with snow. But in North Dakota, you've got the snow and you don't have a choice. Because I like biking, I try to find as many ways as possible to bike. And this is one other way to bike.
And Yearwood has more than one way, along with the Monster Bike and another that he rides to work every day. He also has a bike with a ski to complete his winter bike collection.
There's some carbide blades on each side, which helps to really grip on the ice so I don't skate away. I actually have control over there.
While cold and snow keeps most people inside wishing for spring, Yearwood has found a way to stay out on the trails no matter how bad winter gets. Reporting for Studio One, I'm Nathan Shane.
Yearwood also has a variety of bikes to ride in summer conditions. He designed one bike for all 5 members of the family to ride at the same time. Coming up, lemurs spend a lot of their lifetime in the branches of trees. An anthropologist will tell us why he is concerned as these natural jungle gyms disappear.
Studio One closed captioning is underwritten in part by University of North Dakota Student Government. Your voice, our mission.
The College of Business and Public Administration at the University of North Dakota is proud to announce the Page Family Marketing Center. A gift from alumni Greg and Cindy Page, This center promises real-world experiences as students begin careers in marketing. The center includes a specially designed conference room for focus group research. An adjacent lab offers real-time access to software and data for marketing decisions. The Page Family Marketing Center, your next step in marketing.
Tradition runs deep among American Indian people. One of those traditions is helping others. At the University of North Dakota, American Indian Student Services is dedicated to helping students succeed. Our support services include tutoring and financial aid assistance. We have more American Indian programs than any other university in the U.S., making UND a leader in Indian education. Be a part of our tradition. Call 1-800-CALL-UND.
Earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering degree program offers the only ABET accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through online lectures and condensed on-campus laboratories.
It's convenient, it's flexible, and it's a quality education.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door. No matter what your schedule, no matter when you work, no matter what job you have now, this is your opportunity to accomplish your goals. Degrees After Hours at the University of North Dakota can work around your busy schedule. Bachelor and master's degrees are earned through convenient, flexible, and high-quality classes. Complete degrees are available online through correspondence study and on weekends and evenings. Earn a degree on your terms with Degrees After Hours at the University of North Dakota.
In the Disney movie Madagascar, the famous residents of the island were lemurs. These big-eyed primates have developed a unique ecology in the only place they come from. However, they are an endangered species. Anthropologist Frank Kuzo studies these animals and will tell us why their species is so distinct. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
It's great to be here.
You have a really big passion. I can tell you got your tie on. And what exactly is a lemur?
A lemur is one type of primate. They're only found in Madagascar, and there are about 55 different species of living lemur. And they share a variety of biological traits with all the other primates, including humans.
Okay, what makes them so special?
Because they only live in Madagascar and they've been in isolation for so long on the island, they've been able to adapt and what we call radiate into a whole variety of different types of ecological roles, and so they are tremendously diverse despite being one group of animals.
Okay. One of those pictures looked pretty familiar. You actually have a tattoo on your arm.
Yes, I do.
Trying to get a shot of that. that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
and that's
really
that's actually the animal that's on the that's one of those pictures.
Oh.
Yeah.
You mentioned Madagascar. What is Madagascar like?
Madagascar is a big place. It's one of the largest islands in the world. It's approximately the size of California from north to south, and so it's about 1,000 miles or so and about 200 miles wide. So it's a large island. It's a very diverse island. There's mountains, there's rainforests, and even deserts in the southwestern part of this country.
So why are these animals becoming endangered, or why are they endangered?
There are two primary threats. One is deforestation, destruction of the environment, the same type of threat that exists in almost every other part of the world because of human activity. In some parts of Madagascar, lemurs are also still hunted. In other parts, it's against the cultural traditions, but in some places they are still hunted for food.
What is being done to conserve them? I mean, is it a big alarming over there?
Humans have been in Madagascar for about 2,000 years, and over the past 2 millennia, we've seen the extinction of several dozen species of lemur because of hunting and deforestation. There is a real drive within Madagascar, both at the governmental level and even at the local level in small villages, to in fact protect the lemurs and other wildlife that's in Madagascar. The president of Madagascar is very much focused on conservation efforts and has recently tripled the amount of protected space in the country.
Okay, and you return there every year for a few, like every summer.
Yes.
What does your research consist of with these animals?
Our research program, it's a broad collaborative program. I work with a colleague at the University of Colorado. We also work with graduate students from around the country, veterinarians from St. Louis Zoo and some other places, Colorado State University. It's a very broad research project, and we study not only the behavior and ecology, but also the biology and health, for example, disease ecology and other things related to their general health.
You mentioned that there's a number of species.
Mm-hmm.
Do you study all the different types of species then?
Most of my work focuses on the ringtail lemur, which is, of course, the one that I wear so well. But where this species lives, in fact, there are 5 or 6 or 7 different species, and so we're really focused on the community ecology, not just the one species. The most of the work is, of course, on the ringtail lemurs.
Okay. Do you track individual lemurs?
We do. We have, in the past 3 years, we've captured and analyzed 141 different individuals, and each animal that we capture and then study in the wild, in the field, has a collar that we identify, and one of our big research questions is understanding what happens over the lifetime of these individuals, both in terms of human interaction, but also just to understand what the biology of these animals is.
From studying them, have you picked out any favorites of them? I mean, do they stand out characteristics?
The ringtail lemurs are amazingly inquisitive. They're bright animals. They are very adaptive. They can adjust to a variety of different types of environments and so on. So the thing that's impressed me most is that they are so adaptive.
Okay. How are they in captivity? I know that they're in some of the U.S. zoos, and how are they handling that?
There are several hundred ringtail lemurs that are held in captivity in U.S. zoos, approximately 400 or so. Okay. And within captivity, if there's a large enough sample, they in fact have the same types of social structures and behaviors that you would see in the wild. And so a lot of those traits, in fact, are part of their biology. So we do see them do pretty well in certain environments if there's a large enough space, if there's a large enough population.
Do you feel that there is hope for them to not become endangered anymore?
There are a lot of, as I said, there's a lot of threats, but there is a lot of hope. Madagascar is an amazing place. The people of Madagascar are amazing people, and there really is a focus and an emphasis on the value of lemurs, not only because they're interesting, but also because lemurs are interwoven with the culture of Madagascar. So they're very important to the people of Madagascar.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing this valuable information. I loved hearing about it. So,
you're very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota. We'll be right back after this.
The UND College of Business and Public Administration is reaching out to rural America. The Government Rural Outreach Initiative is working to connect North Dakota veterans with important information. North Dakota veterans can use the internet to access employment and business resources, health and benefits they deserve, housing information, and much more. The Government Rural Outreach Initiative is funded in part by the North Dakota Congressional Delegation. North Dakota veterans and their families can get connected by visiting go.ndgrow.com.
Become a leader in healthcare with a graduate degree from the University of North Dakota. The Graduate School at UND offers degree programs and advanced practice certificate programs in the allied health professions and nursing. Our faculty give you the individual attention you need to help you attain your career goals. Distance programs for practicing professionals allow you to pursue graduate studies without interrupting your career. Contact the UND Graduate School today.
When you graduate from college, what will you be able to offer an employer?
Well, I love working with people.
I'm a people person.
I consider myself to be highly motivated.
I'm a real self-starter.
Offer an employer something more. At the University of North Dakota Career Services Center, we can help you get the competitive edge you need. Stop in or check us out, UND Career Services, empowering students to realize their dreams.
I can offer you much more than just good people skills.
You're hired.
This can happen.
Excuse me, can I get a ride?
What?
My car broke down. Can I get a ride?
No, I can't help you.
Look, it's just a ride.
No, step back.
Get in the car!
No!
Women can defend themselves. To learn more about Impact U or to enroll in a class, call the UND Women's Center.
Tune in next week on Studio One. We all have someone we can count on to make us laugh. We'll show you why one man decided to make a living out of spreading smiles. Plus, we'll have other news and entertainment stories for you.
We're going to leave you now with scenes from a pageant, courtesy of photographer Desiree Mosted. From all of us here at Studio One, have a great week.